Since this is one of the most expensive items in the game, how much would a really good float of Drangolore cost? I have two examples for you. The second best Drangolore in the world, currently 0.0007, is for sale, and he wants 2,300 keys. That's almost 3 times the regular price of a Drangolore. That on its own is pretty insane. But about 1 month ago, the guy with the best Drangolore in the world, a 0.0003, wants to sell his. Now, he doesn't want keys for his op. He wants a souvenir Drangolore factory new, or $11,000, or $10,000, plus he'll pay the flight for you to come to him so you can do the transaction in real life. Now, I just looked through the comments of the Reddit post that he made, and this fucking guy offered his own goddamn car for the op Drangolore. You see, he fucking offered his car for the Drangolore. He'd literally trade his fucking vehicle for this goddamn CSGO pixel ass skin. Like, what the fuck? Now that's pretty fucking insane, isn't it? Now, for us mortals with our regular ass skins, how much does the float affect the price? Well, if you have a BTA skin, a better than average skin, meaning that the float is better than average, of course, you could expect a few keys to like 10, 20 keys over market, depending on how much it is. For example, a Karambit Tiger Tooth you could get for 195. A good float could go for 215. So I actually have a story to tell you guys about how I profited a lot by float value. So I was just trading with a guy a random day. I gave a knife and a couple of other things for his M9 Tiger Tooth. I was just upgrading my stuff and he wanted to downgrade and some other skins, and that's all good. That was a good trade for both parts. Now, I didn't even check the float value of the M9 beforehand because I knew that even if the float value of the M9 Tiger Tooth was the worst possible, it's still a good deal for me. It's still an upgrade, I still would have profited from it. I go on CSGO Exchange to check the float of my M9 Tiger Tooth, and I see it, and I think there's something wrong, because this cannot be the float. The float of this random M9 Tiger Tooth that I get from a random guy, from a trade that was good for me, was 0.000022. It's the third best M9 Tiger Tooth in the world. The price of a regular M9 Tiger Tooth is about 150. If it has a good float, you can get up to 160. Now, I sold this M9 Tiger Tooth for 200 keys. Well, I actually didn't sell it for pure keys. I sold it for a Karambit Tiger Tooth, which I then sold for 200 keys. So, yeah, I traded my M9 Tiger Tooth for 200 keys. Now, that's 40 to 50 keys more than the actual value. So, in this case, the float added 40 to 50 keys, and that's fucking insane. Also, might I add, the guy I was trading with had never registered his skin on CSGO Exchange, so he didn't know of the float value. No one else knew about the float value until I got it. So, in CSGO Exchange database, I was the first owner of this knife, because I was the first person who registered it into the database. I actually have another funny story to tell you about how a bad float can also net you a nice profit. So I was just browsing CSGO Lounge one day, just randomly, not really interested in any trades, just, you know, browsing for fun, seeing prices and if there are any cool skins. If you mouse over an item of CSGO Lounge, you can see the quality of it, which is just CSGO Lounge's way of saying the float of the weapon. So there, the higher percentage the better, but the lower float the better. So I see this falcon knife randomly that this guy was trading amongst a lot of other items. I managed to see that the float of this falcon was like 0.2, like the quality of the item. So 100% is the best you can have. It's rounded up to 100%. So 0.2 must mean that it's literally one of the worst skins in the world. At first, I didn't really, I didn't really believe the site. I thought there was like something wrong. So I went on CSGO Exchange and I checked the guy's profile, and the float value of this Falcon case hardened was actually 0.9975. And that is actually one of the worst floats in the world. Now, the worst float that you can have technically is 1, but you can't actually have 1 since it's always lower. So 0.9975, when 1 is the worst, That's pretty goddamn close. So I add this guy and I ask him how much does he want for it, since I thought he wanted a bunch because it's such a strange float. And he said he wanted 32 keys. So I told, no, he said like 34 keys or so, but I said 30, he said 32, and I said 28 keys, and I'll add a 5-7 monkey business. And he said okay. So I got this one for 28 keys and a monkey business, so basically something like 30 keys. Then I had this skin laying in my inventory for like a month or so. After that, I added Max Skillet on Steam, and I know he's done a bunch of videos on float values and stuff like that. So I asked him if he was interested in this, since it's such a rare skin considering the float value. So I asked him how much he wanted to pay for it. He said something like 60 keys, I think, and I said 80, and we met in the middle, so he paid 70 keys. So I got a lot of profit from that trade, and don't think I scammed him. Just a week later or so, he actually traded it for a M4 Knight, and that's worth like 85 to 100 keys. Oh, look at the time, dude! Now, don't go around assuming your skin is worth a lot more only because it's slightly better than average. If it's even close to being average, it's just normal priced. If it is very much better than average, then of course the price changes, you know, but just be realistic. If you don't have a really like rare float, it's not, the price doesn't really matter that much. Now it's kind of hard for me to specify, you know, which float adds what values, etc. But just be realistic. Check on websites, trading websites like CSGO Lounge or Reddit or stuff like that, and just see what people are charging for these skins, how much they want. Get a general understanding of how much different float affects the price. So yeah, recording this video is fucking awkward because I just go off topic so much. I don't know if you like the video or not. I just wanted to do something trade related. A lot of people have been asking me to make a video like this, so just tell me what you think, guys. Oh,